Hi guys, it's Allie with Chaos Monkey, and I just wanted to do like a little finish video, really. Yeah, let me see here. I'm going to pull this stuff over. Okay, so my first one was from a knit crate, and I had ordered knit crate a few months ago, and I had gotten the buy one box, get an extra free box, and this was my freebie, which I was not, well, I can't tell you which one was which, I don't remember anymore, but one of them I got specifically for that month, which was a color I really, really wanted, which was the titmouse colorway. So yeah, this was my extra. And what they had given me was this yarn here, which is the Vitellana by Knit Crate. So it's theirs in whiskey, 100% Peruvian Highland wool, 201 yards, and there was 2 skeins with it. And I made the pattern, which was in the book. So I think originally this was the January box, according to my book. And it was, now see, for this pattern I liked it, but it didn't seem functional. It's a big thing you put your hands in, like a muff, and I knew I would never use it if I made it, because I think this is the crochet version, crochet pattern, and I knew if I made it I would never ever use it, and I wouldn't know anybody who would use it, because I use my hands constantly, or I'm knitting and crocheting. So what I went with was this one, which was the shift out of the whiskey color, and mine didn't turn out this big. I went up a needle size. I have notes here. They wanted you to use a size 11, and I ended up with a 13. And let's see, I didn't do the full repeat, so mine is not as wide this way. She actually had like another repeat of this and then an edge, and I stopped after 3 of these and then put my edge on, because I knew I was going to run out of yarn, because this is all I had. Because you had to hold them double. So the first time I made it by accident with just one, and of course it came out super small. Yeah, and I just put a note in here, I didn't have enough yarn to finish, because I went up on my needle size, because I wanted a little drapier. So this is kind of coming out a little lighter than it is in real life. In real life this is all a little more brown than this kind of white looking-ish. And I did wash and block it. And it is just a big cowl, and I like the size just fine, because when it's on your neck it's plenty wide, and I really like the pattern. There was no problems with the pattern or anything like that, and so I just wanted to get some stuff out of stash, so I finished this up to wear in the winter. It is definitely a more rustic wool, so having it directly against your neck is probably going to be kind of itchy for most people. So it was kind of, I don't know, oops, sorry you guys, I totally did not mean to do that on my camera. It's doing some weird stuff. So my thing was, why would you use such a scratchy wool for something on your neck? But as long as it's over clothing, you'll probably be just fine. But yeah, it's not a soft wool. It's not super rough, but it's not like merino, because it's not merino. It's definitely Peruvian Highland, so it'll definitely be warm. And this was like almost like a woolen spun, so as I was working with it, it did compress quite a bit, so I was a little worried that it wouldn't poof back up after washing, and it did come back a little bit, and it got some drape, so it turned out really nice. It is a really nice wool. It's just watch it around your neck. A little bit of color came out, but that's expected, with hand dyed, and sometimes you get some excess dye. It wasn't bad. So it did lighten up a little bit after washing, just because some of that extra dye came out. But I do like I like the wool, I like the pattern, I like the way it feels. It's nice and squishy. Like I said, just maybe a tiny bit scratchy against the neck. And I like the, what do you call it, the tonal of it. I like that it's not one solid color. So yeah, that one was pretty fun, even though I had to make it twice because I'm a dork and can't read patterns. And then I finally finished Avinda, which you guys knew was like my nemesis. I wanted to get it off the needles. I'd had it on the needles for a couple of years, and I just wanted it finished. It was out of Malabrigo, because I bought a kit, and they were both in Malabrigo, but I only have the label for the one, so I only have... Oh, I'm sorry, not Malabrigo, Madeline Tosh, you dork. This is Madeline Tosh. I'm thinking an M. So no, this was Madeline Tosh, and this in the base Prairie, which was 100% merino wool and lace weight, and the gray was Rainwater, and I don't know what the orange was. So yeah, they were both Mad Tosh, but I had a lot of yarn left over. So here's how much I had, which was massive. I think I actually wrote down the measurements. Yeah, and the orange I had 39 grams or 1.4 ounces, and in the gray I had 85 grams and 3.0, which I was kind of disappointed with because I don't like working with lace weight. I bought this years ago. I don't know why, just because it was in a kit, or I thought it was fingering and not lace. And now I've got to figure out some way to use up the rest of it. But the pattern is by Melanie Berg. It's a really nice pattern. It's just knitting. I think I used a size 3 needle. And it is an asymmetrical shawl. If I can show you the... Let me try to show you the schematic without giving away the pattern. So as you can see, one end is supposed to be much longer than the other. And so here's the finished piece, and I will show you these pieces on the mannequin so you can see them better. But it starts with the orange, which was over 360 stitches up here, and then you alternate with the gray until it ends up being all gray at the other end. But of course you're going down stitches, so it goes much, much, much faster towards the end. And one of these arms is much longer than the other one. So you can see here's the shorter arm, and this has been washed and blocked, and it turned out really... I didn't pin it, overly pin it. I did use blocking wires, and then you can see this one just keeps going and going and going. But it turns out it's really lightweight. It's really lightweight, really squishy, and I'm really happy with the final project, which is really what I did it for, was not for the knitting itself, but for the object, because I don't like knitting with lace weight. It is not my jam, and then also just knit, 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 because this is just garter with color changes, plus a million ends to weave in. So on the shorter stripes, I kind of just carried it, but on the big stripes, it would have shown too much here on the edges. It would have shown the orange all the way up and looked really weird, so I did have to cut it in the bigger sections just so it would look clean. So that's that finish. So I got two finishes, and they're both knitted, and I have more knitting, which was these pinwheel squares, which I got obsessed with making, so I'm just going to kind of go through them all because I can't remember which ones I showed you guys already, but these are just out of scraps. This one turned out a little wonky because I did more changes in the middle of that one for the rest of the scrap, but some of these don't have the ends woven in, and as you can see, I'm just using leftover sock yarn, and these all have their ends woven in. And what I figured out the easiest way to do was just to weave in the ends as you go, as you're making it, because at the end you don't want to weave in a million ends. And that's much easier. As you can see, it's just scraps, no rhyme or reason. I'm not trying to plan this out and be super planny because I'm just trying to use up scraps. But you could definitely do this pattern with a plan in mind, for sure. I've seen some on Ravelry that looked really, really nice. And here's the pattern for this one by Mina Phillip. So those are my basically what I've been working on and finishing as of late. I don't have any crochet. I'm going to put a crochet probably a shawl or a, I want to say like a cowl on the needle, or on the hook next. So I'm thinking about using this guy in something, because this is almost like a lace weight, and I have over 1,000 yards of it, but it's crochet, so it's much easier to crochet with this weight for me than knitting with it. So I'm kind of wanting to make something out of this because it is a cotton. While we're still in the warmer season, yeah, this is all cotton and acrylic. So if anybody has any suggestions, let me know in the comments for this guy, because I think I'm probably going to start something crochet, because I really need something on the hook. Because too much knitting, but I did want to finish a few of these. And like I said, I did this knitted one because I didn't really think the crocheted one was going to be functional, where I know I would wear this in the winter. And then of course this is knitted, of course. So, but I'm really, really glad I finished it. It's really squishy. Oh, but I don't know what I'm going to do with these leftovers. Oh my goodness. Oh, so much yardage. I'm just double checking to make sure I don't have, oh, hold on. I have more knitting. I just put some socks on the needles. This was, what was this? Oh, it was Knit Picks Felici that I'd had in stash in the color Countess. So, I just wanted to get these made up into something. I think I'd done this for like a needle review I'd started, and then I just wrapped it back up, and it was all crazy pants and stash and getting tangled, so I just decided to take it out and just put some socks on the needles. I don't know if I'm going to make shorty socks or not. I might. I totally might make shorty socks. I've been kind of into those lately, than trying to use, because I can probably get a couple of pair. How much are these? 100 gram balls? 50 gram balls, so 100 grams total. I might be able to get a couple of pairs of shorty socks. But you gotta watch Knit Picks. Unfortunately, every time I've weighed Knit Picks, it's always underweight. So what it says on the label is not exactly what's actually in the balls. So I might have to weigh them after these socks to make sure I have enough for a second pair of shorty socks, just to be on the safe side, because sometimes that's been like as much as 5 grams short, and that can make quite a bit of difference when you're trying to squeak out a second pair of something. So, but I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and start some crochet projects. I'll probably always be working on these pinwheels just because they're addicting, and well, how many did I do already? Oh my gosh, you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, I think I'm double counting. Hold on, I don't have that many. I folded them. I think I have like 7 already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 8 already. And they're easy because I like just doing a wedge and like stopping for a while. So you just do like a little wedge and then add on a wedge, and they're pretty quick. So I'll always be working on that until I get through my sock scraps. And for knitting, I only have those socks right now, except for a couple of things that I'm designing, but I'm not going to show those right now. So yeah, I need ideas. So I'm going to have to watch some podcasts to find some crochet and some knitting ideas. But again, I'm trying to get through stash and just kind of clean out the stash for stuff that's been sitting around for a while. So that kind of does restrict you, because you just can't buy what you want. So I'm trying to be disciplined. So alright you guys, I just wanted to show you my current finishes, and I will put pictures of them on the mannequin so you can see them better. And I'll talk to you later. Bye! Okay guys, here it is on the mannequin. Again, my lighting is not that great, but it's overcast today. But you can kind of get an idea. It's really large. Here's one end all the way over here. And then this end, it's asymmetrical, so one end will be shorter than the other end. So I'm going to show you my current finishes, and I will put pictures of them on the mannequin so you can see them better. And I'll talk to you later. Bye! Okay guys, here it is on the mannequin. Again, my lighting is not that great, but it's overcast today. But you can kind of get an idea. It's really large. Here's one end all the way over here. And then this end, it's asymmetrical, so one end will be shorter than the other end. and it is in lace weight, so that's why you can see through it pretty easily. It's very lightweight. But finally, I'm done. Really happy with it.